The call came at 2:14 a.m. Not the kind that startles you awake. The kind that slides under your skin and whispers something is wrong before you even answer. My mother's voice was thin, almost distant. "Come in the morning," she said. "Your father wants to talk." She didn't say why. She didn't have to. 30 years of being the invisible child had trained me to hear the things they never said out loud. And yet, her tone carried something new, a tremor, a strange, uneasy respect. I lay there in the dark, staring at the faint outline of my ceiling fan. The room felt too still, like the world was holding its breath. My family never called me unless something was broken. This time, it felt like someone was. When morning came, I walked into their house, the same place that had swallowed my childhood whole, and felt every set of eyes track me. My brother, my sister, my parents, all seated, waiting. My father cleared his throat, avoiding my gaze. "Son, we heard something." A pause. "Something hard to believe." Silence stretched across the room like a wire pulled tight. And that's when I realized they weren't looking at the failure anymore. They were looking at a threat. The shift was small, but I felt it, and I smiled. Quiet, unreadable, because already knew the truth they were afraid to ask. This time, I hadn't come to be dismissed. The conversation began like every conversation from my childhood, with them circling me as if I owed them an apology for existing. My mother folded her arms. "Your cousin said you bought a building." My sister added, "Downtown, cash. That can't be right." My brother snorted. "You? Buy property? Come on." There it was, the familiar sting, the reflexive dismissal. Invisible, forgettable, the one who never achieved anything, as my father loved to remind me. But then his eyes narrowed. "Tell us the truth," he said. "Where did that money come from?" It wasn't curiosity, it was accusation. As if success, my success, had to be criminal. I felt the old anger rise, slow and controlled, like smoke filling a sealed room. For 30 years, every accomplishment I had clawed my way toward had been reduced to luck, lies, or fantasy. They expected me to stay quiet, to be grateful for the scraps of their attention. But now they were afraid, nervous, shaken by the idea that the failure they sculpted might have slipped out of their grip. I kept my voice level. "Why do you care?" My mother flinched. My father stiffened. And then, my sister whispered the words that anchored everything. "Because you weren't supposed to outgrow us." There it was, their betrayal. Not infidelity, not deception in the romantic sense, but a deeper treason. They built a version of me small enough to control, and they expected me to stay inside it forever. That realization landed like a knife turned inward, sharp, clean. That was the moment I understood the truth. My entire family had lied to me for decades. Not with words, with limits. I didn't argue. Arguments were for people who still wanted to be understood. Instead, I watched them. Every glance, every whisper, every calculating look. Then I began collecting their words, the things they said behind my back, the things they assumed I would never hear. My brother, he should be grateful we let him stay connected to this family. My mother, some people simply aren't meant for success. My father, he'll come crawling back when he fails. They had built an entire mythology around my supposed incompetence. They needed me at the bottom because it made them feel higher. So I stayed silent, cold, observing. And while they continued to speak of me as if I were absent, even when I was right there, I prepared. Documents, statements, certificates, portfolio summaries, every piece of proof that the child they dismissed had built an empire they couldn't even imagine. I moved calmly, quietly, strategically, letting the tension thicken around them like fog, letting them believe the lie for just a little longer. Because the longer someone clings to their illusion, the more violently it shatters when the truth finally hits. I waited until they were all in the living room again, my father on his worn leather chair, my mother perched with judgment sharpened, my siblings pretending not to stare. Without a word, I placed a single folder on the table. My father frowned. "What's this?" "The truth," I said. He opened it. His hands stopped. Pages of asset statements, portfolio valuations, acquisition documents, 7 digits, 8 in projection. My sister's breath caught. My mother's face drained. My brother whispered, "Impossible." But it wasn't. It was their nightmare and my reality. My father looked at me, stunned. How did you?" I met his gaze, calm and cold. "You spent 30 years telling me what I couldn't be, so I built everything you never believed I could." Silence swallowed the room. Not the silence of peace, the silence of collapse. My sister was the first to break. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you?" I repeated. "You never listened." My mother reached out. "We're your family." I stepped back. "No," I said. "You're the audience who never thought I'd rise." My father tried the old tone. "Authority, control. You should have come to us for guidance." I almost laughed. "Guidance? You taught me one thing, that I was alone." I closed the folder. "I came today so you could see what your silence created." Their faces fell. Guilt, envy, disbelief twisting together. A perfect storm. Then I delivered the final cut. "I'm done being your invisible child." And God, how it broke them. I walked out of that house without looking back. No apologies, no forgiveness, no attempt to soften the blow. The cold air hit my face like clarity. For the first time in my life, I felt weightless. Not because I had won, but because I was finally free from the people who needed me small. Some families destroy you quietly. One insult, one dismissal, one forgotten birthday at a time. Mine did. But I rebuilt myself in the shadows they left me in. And now? I don't need them to see me. I only needed them to realize they never actually knew me at all.